Kind Voice Radio.
Hello there. Welcome, friends and soon-to-be friends. This is your Kind Voice to Radio program where we interview inspiring guests about how they use their kind voices to make a difference in today's world. I'm your smiling host, the motivation champ, Domick Domasky. Excited about today's show. It's going to be a great one. The Faith, Hope, and Love, we have Mark and Heather Lojeski, and Faith, Hope, and Love is an organization that works to provide the necessities for children in crisis situations, whether from abuse or a neglectful situation, they're displaced or affected by a natural disaster. They are helping give the tools to children to overcome this. I'm in awe of people giving so much to somebody else. We have to have them on the show, and we just have to hear about it. So, Heather, Mark, thank you for being on the show. But, Heather, can I ask you, where did you get the idea to do this?
My husband and I started this because I lived in an abusive home and watched how it affected my sister and I because there was no one that was really able to help and reach out to us. And then as foster parents for 2 years and working with a camp for abused and neglected children, we saw so many times children come with either nothing at all or they come with a trash bag filled with their belongings. And we just thought, what kind of message are we sending children by sending them out the door with nothing or a trash bag of their personal items when they're removed from a home? So we started Duffels for Kids in May of 2013 to be a solution for that problem.
All right, I got to get into what you said here. So first, as a little kid, how do you even know? How do you know you're being abused? How do you know that's not normal? What did you go through?
I don't
Mentally,
know that
I do. Go through?
Right. I don't know that you do know that it's not normal. I can remember when my husband and I started dating, and there were things he would ask me, and to me it was normal to not go anywhere, to not do normal activities outside the home because I was so secluded. I just thought that everybody lived that way. You know, everybody lived never leaving their home, never having friends. I didn't know what it was like to have a good friend because my friendships were always ended. My mom made sure that I didn't have friends. So I don't know that kids that are being abused know it's not normal.
So now we have more. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think that's part of why sometimes it's not caught is the kids don't know it's not normal, so they wouldn't know to report it.
Yeah, many times. I'm sorry. A lot of times when we were going through foster care training years ago, they would say that kids in crisis situations, particularly foster kids who are in these situations, actually will stick up for their parents, even though they're being treated very badly. They'll stick up for their parents. They're the only parents that they have, so they're the only ones they know.
That's interesting you say that. Mark, let me ask you. You came in like a knight in shining armor, I guess, to the situation. Did you know something was wrong, or was it like, well, I don't know, because you were so close to the situation? But like Heather says, people really don't know that aren't in the house, so how could you tell something was wrong?
Well, Heather cried a lot. You know, we'd be together, and she cried a lot, and I thought, well, women cry a lot more than men, but this is, a little extreme. And then she would start telling me things, like, and I think, well, that's kind of weird, and I started getting a little concerned, but it really wasn't until after we were married that I knew, boy, there was something really wrong, in what happened as she was growing up. But it was, bit by bit, piece by piece. And then we got married, and it was like, wow, it just, dropped. And it was something that was difficult to deal with at first. But, when you get married, you stick together, and that's part of, my motivation is like, I know I saw from what she went through that, kids need help. There's nobody who can just run to your house and open the door and say, I'm pulling this kid out. Because, just like I learned piece by piece, most people who aren't that close to the situation, they know a little bit, they can see things, they can hear things, but they don't know for sure. And there might be some kid, looking out the window, crying out for help, silently, but nobody can really do anything because there's, this well, there may be something going on. There may not be something going on. So a lot of times it isn't until law enforcement comes in and they're there and they got that garbage bag saying to some little kid, okay, you got 5 minutes, and I'm stealing this from Heather, you have 5 minutes, to get everything you own into this garbage bag, and that's what we have. No, not garbage bags, but we have the faith, hope, and love bags so that there's something in there already. If they're not able to get anything, they leave that night with something.
Faith, hope, and love. I want to know, how did you guys start? You have this idea, you know what Heather went through, but Heather, how did you guys start this program to just get this idea? And actually, so many people say they're gonna do something. I want to help. I could do better. But how did you guys actually start it from scratch?
I started by talking to friends. I knew what we wanted in the bags, and so I began talking to some of my close friends who knew our situation, knew we had been foster parents, knew I'd come out of an abusive home. And so talked to them, and they started donating items to us. And the next thing I knew, we had enough for 20 bags. So my husband and I purchased the 20 bags and then filled them with all the items our friends had donated. And I reached out to Racine County Sheriff's Department, and Sheriff Schmeling has been extremely supportive to us. He got behind the program immediately, and they started out with 20 bags in their squad cars, and now they're up to 90 bags in their squad cars. So they have 2 bags per squad car. One is an age 3 to 9 bag, and one is an age 10 to 17 bag. So if they are on site in any domestic abuse situation, a child being removed from the home, a tragedy, natural disaster, anything like that, they have bags in their squad car that are ready, accessible to them to hand out.
So what is in one of these bags?
I'll let Mark tell you what's in the bags.
Okay. I wrote this down just so I wouldn't forget, because I tend to forget. In the bags, there's a stuffed animal. When we started, it was a teddy bear, but it's pretty much become now a stuffed animal, a flashlight, a fleece blanket, toothbrush and toothpaste, a hairbrush or comb. There's 2 books now. We had 1 book at one time, but we found that if kids are having difficulty learning to read, having a book a little bit under their level is good, and then having one that they can reach up to is a good idea too. Hygiene items, which are going to be age appropriate. Then we have in the more infant bags, there would be a brush and a comb, lotion and baby soap, baby powder, and then all the other stuff that I just mentioned. But the baby bags, obviously, they're going to have a little smaller blanket we're trying for. And then in 2015, we're going to add a water bottle. So that's pretty much it that goes into the bags that I can think of right now.
There's also a fleece blanket in each of those bags.
So when the kids, have you two ever personally given the bags to the children? I mean, do they always come from the police officers or somebody, or have you ever seen a kid's eyes when they get these bags?
2 or 3 times.
When you give a kid a bag like this, and you're helping them out, what is their reaction?
Their reaction, 2 that I can think of in general, the reaction is hesitation at first. They're kind of stunned that they're getting something. They're not used to getting anything. They're also a little bit leery of you. I mean, the littler kids especially, you're really big to them. I mean, Heather and I are both not very big. We're both short. But, to a little kid, you're huge. And they look at you, and they're a little hesitant. They doubt that, why is somebody doing something for me? All I've ever had is something taken away, and now you're trying to give them something. One little boy, and because of situations, we can't take pictures or anything like that and can't mention names, but his situation had gotten really bad, and he had gone from one foster home to a foster home of people that we know. And they called us and they said, hey, his bag he doesn't have his bag anymore. I'll just leave it at that. So they said, could you replace the bag? And Heather said, yeah, no problem. And so for the stuffed animal, his favorite stuffed animal was a leopard. Or was it a cheetah? I'm not sure, but one of those. So a cheetah, okay? So Heather said, I got to look for a cheetah for this little boy. And so she went, we have these bags, 30-gallon bags of stuffed animals. First thing that she saw was a cheetah. So that was right into the bag. And, we brought the stuff over, and he was really, really leery, like I said. And what happened with this particular case was, and we don't do this normally somebody else just stepped up with us, and they said, "Here, some money," because this boy had no clothes that fit him. So we went and we bought clothes for him too. He went and he was really, like I said, he was scared at first. Then he opened up a little bit. There was a little shirt, and it had the Minions on it, and he just loved it. But instead of trying to try it on, he put it on his head, like on top of his head, like a hat. There were gloves. He put the gloves on it, and it was just things that he wasn't used to getting. And all you could think was, this boy hasn't had this stuff. So, this is so unusual to him. And then he warmed up to us. It took him about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer to warm up to us. He had the flashlight. He wanted to play with it. And the blanket, he kind of hugged to himself. And we find that most of the kids, and we do have stories from other people, how the kids react to the blankets. They want to carry them around all the time. And they, this is mine. It's something where, again, they haven't had anything. All they've ever had is things taken away from them. So this is mine. The blanket, they just hold it close to themselves, and it becomes a security blanket. And that's what's really nice. When you get the chance, and we don't very often get the chance to see these kids smile, to see the looks on their faces when they go, "Wow, this is for me. This is really for me," then this is really worth it, because we don't see these kids. We, three kids maybe, and it could be more, but I think it's about 3 in the 18 months or so that we've done this to know. And it's nice to see their reaction to what they get.
Heather, Mark, Lojeski, 2 people really giving back. I just want to get into this about so much more. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
This is NASCAR driver Kurt Busch, and I am proud to support our nation's veterans. Do you know you can get a faster decision on your disability compensation claims by filing an electronic fully developed claim, or e-claim, on eBenefits? Take it from a guy who lives his life in the fast lane. Faster is better. Visit ebenefits.va.gov today to learn more.
Hi, I'm Tiffany with Friends from Home. Did you know that every year roughly 40 million Americans change their address? That's almost 13% of the U.S. population. Many of them move from one coast to the other, and for many different reasons. A new job, better weather, or just a much-needed change. But no matter where you move, it can be hard to meet people that you connect with. That is what Friends from Home is all about. Find a community of people in your city that are from your home state or country without having to friend request strangers.
A lot has changed from when Nola Osh started school until the time she finished.
When I received my diploma, it was a big to-do.
At 95 years young, Nola became the world's oldest college graduate.
If we don't concentrate on our ages, we go ahead and do things as if we were younger.
So no matter how old you are, live life and pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Hi, this is Tim from Team Trivia, and I really hope you're enjoying your weekly Team Trivia questions. The good news is the fun isn't limited to a kind voice. We have live shows all over the country where you can put all your knowledge of random or weird facts to use. It's completely free to play, and the best part is that there are great prizes. And if you're in charge of planning your company's holiday party or diversity training seminars, give us a call with an impressive resume including the Atlanta Braves, the Home Depot, and Delta. We can handle any corporate event needs for you. If you're in the Atlanta area, check out teamtrivia.com. For all of the regions, go to playteamtrivia.com and call 1-866-5-TRIVIA when you want to book us for your next event. And be sure to mention you heard this ad on A Kind Voice to get 10% off.
A Kind Voice Radio.
Welcome back to Your Kind Voice. Our program is part of a bigger mission of A Kind Voice, which is to make our world a kinder, more connected place, one conversation at a time. If you got a chance, you got to get on www.kindvoice.org and check out our other shows. We have a show on movies, a show on music, books, innovation, sports. They're doing a lot of good things over there. I'm not doing it alone, so check out all those other shows. Before the break, we were discussing what 2 of the kindest voices maybe that we've ever had on the show. I'm honored to have them on. We were discussing the Faith, Hope, and Love project, I want to call it, but they are giving bags to children of abused, neglectful situations, displaced. I mean, they're just going above and beyond, and that's what I guess the Kind Voice is all about, people sharing their stories like Heather and Mark, and really two of the kindest voices we've ever had on the show, so I am honored. But I just wanted to ask you, Heather, what do you think, what's going on in society that we have more and more and more stuff like this going on? How can we stop it?
I always tell people I try to look at what are the solutions and not necessarily all of the negative problems, because I feel like each of us has an opportunity to be a solution. And so if all of us take part in helping to become a solution to the problems within society, we can make huge changes and impact our communities.
I love what you're saying. And so to that question, what have you learned about the human spirit doing this?
I think you learn that a little bit of kindness goes a long way. I have heard amazing stories of how just this small bag that to us seems so trivial and so, easily put together and yet is making such a huge impact. This past week, we delivered our 1,000th bag for 2014. So in 2015, we did 700, and in 2014, it'll be well over 1,000 by the end of December.
I'm going to jump around here. So if I'm a big guy on telling the world your goals and stuff like that. So what would your guys' goal be for the project? If I could ask 5 years down the road, where do you want this to be? What's your answer?
We're right now in the process. We actually have 2 other care bags that we have created. One is, they're called blast packs. So they're for, our tagline is have a blast with law enforcement. So those bags are for one-on-one mentoring programs with law enforcement and children within the community. And then they're also used at the local prisons for when children come to visit parents that are incarcerated. It gives them something. A lot of times they wait 45 minutes to 2 hours before they actually see the parent. This gives them something to do while they're there. And then we have another bag that we're rolling out in 2015, and that's going to be a care bag for children that are rescued from human trafficking. We're doing that in collaboration with the Racine Coalition Against Human Trafficking. So, and then I guess in 5 years, I would love to be like nationwide. So we're starting to take steps to do that.
So let's go right with that. What could we do, the listeners listening today, or me, myself, anybody, what could we do to support you?
Several ways that we can receive support. We do have a website, and it's faithhopeandlovebags.weebly.com, and there's a donation button on there, so people can make monetary donations, which help us purchase the items needed to place in the bag. We've had people actually purchase items for us and then have them shipped to us. Our office address is on the website, so those items can be shipped to us. Those are just a couple of the ways that we've had people help us. And then we have received help from corporations and foundations that actually have given us money to help create the bags and to grow our business to a bigger size.
All right, faithhopeandlovebags.weebly.com. All right, I could ask you another question. I'm doing some research on you guys, and I hear you're doing all this inspiring stuff, and I hear you have 10 kids. Is that true?
That's true.
How do you find the time with 10 kids to go above and beyond? Are they part of the team, or how does it work?
Well, 5 of our kids now, I just bumped into something. 5 of our kids are 17 or older right now, and then we have the 5 younger ones, and most of the time our kids help out. They're just drawn into this. They love to help, packing bags, going to the store and getting stuff with us. They help out so much, and we have to thank them so much. And, this is something that it helps them to grow, too, that they're doing a service for other people, and they see all the things they can do, but they've just been a great help.
Mark, to that point, as a father myself that's trying to get my kids on the right path, do you think them helping out, have you seen a change in them when they actually help a little kid and the world's not all about them anymore?
Oh, yeah. I think all of my kids have just always been drawn to other kids to help them out. Even my 9-year-old, who's the youngest, he just loves helping other kids. If he sees a kid who looks sad, he wants to help them out. The older kids, they recently, 3 of my older girls went to a camp for abused and foster kids, and they just love doing it, and they grew up in this. It's something that they were drawn to, and they grew up in it, so it's normal to them, but we never force them to do anything. If they don't want to, it's a choice. They do what they want to do.
You're doing a lot of things right here. I see you two are both pretty attractive-looking people. As I peruse your website, your bags are attractive, and you two are attractive. So how has the public responded to that? One, I'm looking at a picture of you guys on TV. How has the public responded to what you're doing?
Well, thank you. Go ahead, Heather.
Our community has really come behind us and stepped up and supported us. We've received so many donations of both the items that go in the bag and monetary donations to help us. Anytime we reach out to the community saying we have a need, they're right there willing to help, willing to step up and help provide what we need.
I'm almost sitting here tearing up because, I'm listening to you guys talk. I believe in the program. I believe in the effort you're putting in. And then I go to Faith, Hope, and Lovebags.weebly.com, and I see the tables with the little teddy bears on them, with the lotions on them, with the blankets on them. And to anybody listening to the show, check that out. That really hits home, hits the heart what you guys are doing. So, I'm honored to have you on the show. Is if you could say, I want to the little children that you're saving, that you're helping. What happens once they get this bag? Where do they go next? How does that work?
And it's different in each instance. When we're working with both foster care and the sheriff's department, many times from there they're taken to a temporary foster home, and then based on what happens within the court system, that determines whether they go to a long-term placement or they're returned to their family. If it's like a homeless situation, it's normally that we're working with a homeless shelter, so they're going to be there anywhere from a few days to a few weeks or a few months. And then if we're working with, we do work with like some of the school systems, and the schools are helping those families transition from homeless shelters to their own place. So those bags, our hope is that they're actually going to return to their own home with their own family. That doesn't always happen, but that's our goal.
You are doing special things there. I want to say thank you. You deserve a lot of credit, and I want to say thank you, Mark. Thank you, Heather. Really, I'm inspired by you two guys. I guess I want to say in the theme of a kind voice, being that you two are two of the kindest voices, how can this community, just one more time, how can our community support you guys with, tomorrow, today, when they hear the show, how can they support you?
I think the easiest way is going to be if they go to our website, faithhopeandlovebags.weebly.com, and click that donation button. Each bag with its contents costs us $20 to create. So even if you sponsor one bag per month, it's $20 a month, and that's one child. We do an average of 150 bags per month that go out our doors. If I can get, 10 or 15 people to say, hey, I'll sponsor a bag, $20 a month, that's a huge help for us.
I'm hoping we can help you. I'm hoping I can help you. I'm hoping having you on the show today helped my soul. So, Mark, Heather, Faith, Hope, and Love Bags, thank you for being guests on the show today. You guys are the best.
Thank you for having me.
We will talk soon. You guys keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark and Heather, Faith, Hope, and Love Bags. One thing that's really sticking out in my mind that she said today, a little bit of kindness goes a long way. So do what you can do. A little bit of kindness makes a difference. I'm Domick, the Motivation Champ. If you'd like to have me come speak at an event or purchase my book, Don't Double Bread the Fish, you can check me out at motivationchamps.com, or my book's available at amazon.com and barnesandnoble.com. Until next time, it's get knocked down, get back up, and keep swinging.
crazy in these troubled days, and sometimes it seems the only place to turn is away. But in that moment you can throw away the fear, 'cause someone else can be just what you need to hear. With a kind voice, a few kind words, an open ear for when you need to be heard, a warm heart. You can make that choice to find a kind voice. Yes, we're different, look at you and me. Both have questions, both have answers, both have needs. And though most likely we will often disagree, we can just keep talking, maybe find that we can be a kind voice, a few kind words, an open ear for when you need to be heard, a warm heart. We can make that choice to be a kind voice. There's nothing wrong with reaching out when you need. I'll be there for you, and maybe you can be for me. With a kind voice, a few kind words, an open ear for when you need to be heard, a warm heart. We can make that choice to be a kind voice, a few kind words, an open ear for when you need to be heard, a warm heart. We can make that choice to be a kind